Good Friday morning to you all. Hopefully you guys are doing great. We get another Watchmen update here. Got some big news items coming across the desk here. We got President Trump looking to get back Bagram Air Force Base back from the Taliban. That's a change of things, isn't it? We'll tell you why he's thinking about that and why they might actually get it. Ben & Jerry's, the ice cream, loses its Ben, and, well, let's just say good riddance. Jimmy Kimmel, also good riddance, taken off the air permanently for lying intentionally to his audience for propaganda purposes. Sick, really. We got brain-eating amoebas back on the news. We got to talk about that. We got Colombia boosting its production of white powder, and it's upsetting people, particularly our government. And Medicare rates exploding upwards. We got the latest here. That and a whole lot more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They are like-minded people. They are concerned about the de-dollarization out there. They're concerned with markets that are massively overpriced. If you are concerned about these things, you can know that the folks over at Genesis Gold are concerned about those things too. They are committed to having their business follow Christian principles, and so you'll find that they seek to educate you and not to pressure you. If you'd like to find out more or have some questions about moving your IRA or 401k, partially or all of it over into precious metals, Jonathan and his team would love to talk to you and answer your questions. There'll be a link at the end of the video if you'd like to find out more. All right, let's start off with Jimmy Kimmel, that comedian, though his stuff hasn't been funny for quite a while. Jimmy Kimmel has been pulled indefinitely off the air by ABC after he made some Charlie Kirk comments. Well, it wasn't so much his comments about Charlie Kirk, it was the fact that he was lying about the attacker. Even days and days after, he was saying that this was a MAGA person. And then he started attacking the Trump followers and, the Republicans essentially for trying to score political points by lying about the attacker being a leftist, which by that point, all the information was coming out that they were clearly a leftist. But he and his team apparently decided to just flat out lie about it. And that is too far beyond the pale even for Disney. The fact that Disney, which owns ABC now, said, no, you crossed the line. You crossed the line. Really should tell you just how bad this was. He has an indefinite suspension and will probably be bye-bye adios forever because, he's a comedian, but he's supposed to be reporting the news too. And not only did he fail to do that, he egregiously abused his position. All right, speaking of people abusing their position, Ben of Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream, which I have to say, I haven't had their ice cream for many years, partially due to because I knew their political affiliations, but their Cherry Garcia ice cream back in the day when I was backpacking on the Appalachian Trail was like my go-to. As soon as I got into town, you get a bottle of Coke and you get a tub of ice cream. For being in the woods, hiking up and down mountains for a week, you need something, right? Anyway, Ben has resigned after being told to behave by the parent company of Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's sold their company to Unilever, like the soap company. Apparently, Unilever thinks it's bad business to antagonize half the country by being a flaming leftist. But Ben, on the other hand, wanted to continue doing that. And Unilever is just like, that's bad for business. You need to stop. So Ben is resigning. So adios. And now, once again, it's safe to buy Ben & Jerry's ice cream. How about that? Cool. Might just try that. It's like $6 for a little pint, it's like crazy. How much is it now? It's like $7 maybe? I don't know. It was crazy prices back then, but now it's stupid prices. All right, President Trump and Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, signed a groundbreaking tech partnership. Because, the UK is known for tech and bad dentistry. Anyway, the U.S. President formally signed the tech partnership to strengthen cooperation in artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and nuclear energy. Now, we already told you about the nuclear energy thing. Basically, that's going to help speed up designs of new nuclear reactors and the approval process for that. So that's good news, at least. President Trump has declared Antifa, we mentioned this yesterday in the afternoon video, a major terrorist organization, which, I keep going back and forth. I'm not sure if President Trump is a genius that he uses non-technical, non-legal language like this, like a major terrorist organization. What does that even mean? Legally, it doesn't mean anything. It's not a legal term. Are they a domestic terrorist organization? That is a legal term. And like I said, I'm not sure if he's genius for doing this. I think it's probably that, or if he just is inexact with his language, which I think most people kind of assume that that's what he's doing. But I think by keeping it general or non-technical, it keeps his options open until the legal stuff gets issued. But we're going to see that coming out from the FBI and Department of Homeland Security in the next couple days, probably. That's going to be a major, anyone who's funded Antifa is going to have to be running for cover right now. And their bank statements and their bank stuff's all going to be blown open. The Trump administration on Monday added Colombia to the list of nations failing to cooperate in the drug war for the first time in almost 30 years. A stinging rebuke to this traditional U.S. ally. Basically, they've been making too much white powder recently. It's been a surging amount of white powder coming out of Colombia. And the United States is finally done with it. Done with pretending like the Colombian government has any control over what the cartels are doing in their country. Because they don't. They basically are owned by the cartels or afraid of the cartels. Either way, they should not be getting massive funding from the United States, and we should not be accepting their partnership or cooperation when, in fact, their government is so riddled with cartel members that they're basically a cartel. Our list of allies grows thin, doesn't it? India, their health has issued a health alert after a brain-eating amoeba is rising in infections there. The health alert has been issued after infections and deaths caused by a rare waterborne brain-eating amoeba doubled compared to last year in the southern state of Kerala. It is spreading. So if you're going to go swimming in India, maybe think twice. Yeah? President Trump is in negotiations with the Taliban to retake Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan, most recently where 13 Americans perished at Abbey Gate. Yeah. So apparently, in the words of President Trump, we're trying to get it back because they need things from us. We want that base back. President Trump also said, one of the reasons we want the base back is, as you know, it's an hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. So basically, reconnaissance and air surveillance, it's a very useful base because it's kind of close to the Iranian border and it's close to China. So it's just kind of like a really good place. It's pretty heavily fortified. Only an incompetent moron could possibly lose that base. I'm sorry, Abbey Gate is not actually at Bagram Air Force Base. What happened in the pullout of Afghanistan was that President Biden handed Bagram Air Force Base, a base that would be almost impossible to take, handed it over to the Taliban as a goodwill gesture or something. And then we were forced to use the Kabul airport to evacuate from, which is not well defended at all, which is why the Russians built Bagram Air Force Base outside the city in a impregnable location. So hopefully we get the Bagram Air Force Base back and we can build it into a self-contained city once again, like we have before. And anyway, Taliban bad though. Taliban bad. And we do not need to be doing peacekeeping operations in Afghanistan. Once again, it's on the other side of the world. What happens there, as horrific as that stuff is not a vital American interest. There's no oil there. So that should seal the deal for a lot of people out there, a lot of the people in Washington, D.C. But, you know, it always astonishes me when people are like, we need to get involved in this place or that place. It's just like, you know, there's like a whole lot of other places in the world where more horrific things than that are happening, but you don't seem to want to go those places. Why is that? Why are some places more important than others? And that's the truth of geopolitics. It's the truth. Everyone's like, why don't you care about these people in this country? It's like, why don't you care about the people in Africa and Congo? You know, there's a bunch of wars that have been raging there for decades, and atrocities and genocides. Darfur. Who here was like sending people into Darfur? Nobody. Nobody. They even found some oil there, so that may change. Who knows? Gene says, I was at Dollar Tree in southern Middle Tennessee. All of the Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas stuff are now out. But otherwise, some of the things on my shopping list were gone. At Dollar General, the same thing, but much more empty shelf space than the Dollar Tree. I got the last of the stock that I was looking for. So decorations are out. Useful stuff is gone. Go figure. Those 50+% tariffs on Chinese goods are starting to bite, aren't they? Todd says Flagstar Bank and its chain, it previously was called NYBC, are completely offline today. No withdrawals, no cash, no deposits, all day so far at all locations. They're talking about a computer problem. Friends, what happens when your bank has a computer problem? Are you going to be able to buy stuff? Are you going to have food? Do you have enough food stocked up? Do you have enough stuff stocked up that you don't need to go to the store this week? And if you do need to go to the store, do you have cash? Do you have other bank accounts? Do you have some sort of resiliency against any sort of hiccup that may happen in the system? Fair questions, right? Grandson of Kong says, driving on I-5, I stopped at Costco in Rossburg, Oregon for gas. Heading south, we paid $3.39 regular. Heading north 6 days later, the same place, we paid $3.99. So $3.39 to $3.99 in just 6 days. 60 cents a gallon increase, or about 18% in just 6 days. Keith says, a friend of mine went to the Mendocino County Board of Supervisors public meeting that's in California. He sat through the whole thing to see what was happening. He told me that the Board of Supervisors authorized $1,200 per hour pay for psychologists who counsel delinquent kids. Does anyone out there now want to counsel delinquent kids for $1,200 an hour? It's like if you have an 8-hour day, over 10 grand. You know, I mean, sign me up. I'm ready to counsel delinquent kids in California. Anyway, the county is broke and in debt. Just think this through. Kickbacks, corruption, all on display. $1,200 an hour and nothing is done to stop this. Welcome to California, friends. And it's not just California. If you actually show up at your municipal, your city, you might be surprised by what they're doing there too. If you ever want to just get a real wake-up call, go to a zoning meeting. I've heard about those. Those are interesting, where you have all the contractors who donated money to the zoning commission, getting them elected. Every time they want something rezoned in order to build something, it gets rezoned like that. But if you show up and try to get something rezoned, no dice, no dice. You did not pay in order to play. Local governments are astonishingly corrupt throughout the United States, and many of you have stories just like that. Rhonda says, I grow two fields of sunflowers, and where are the bees this year? I normally have tons of bees. Now, most days, I don't see any here in Hesperia, California. More and more stories like that coming in, aren't there? Nikki says, my friend had a job interview with a place called Mita Lodge. She was going to take the job until they started talking about mandated COVID pokes. Within 6 months. Within 6 months, you got to get your poke. I thought this wasn't going to be implemented. Prepare yourself and stay vigilant. Stock up if you can. Stay safe and stay in prayer. I told you, the leftists out there are freaking out about the COVID coming back. They detected it in the wastewater, and so therefore, we need to shut the entire country down again. So if you're out in the store and you see a bunch of people with face masks on, those are the crazy people. Those are the crazy people. Might want to stay away from them. They may try stabbing you. Who knows? Durand Bulldog says, Northern Illinois, Medicare Part D plan, 2023. That was my first year retired, they're saying. $10 per month covered all prescriptions, 100%. 2024, $45 per month, $500 deductible added. Now, new 2026 rates, $95 per month, less coverage, larger deductible, now it's $615. But as they say, inflation's only 2%. If you believe that one, right? Jennifer says, you need a greenhouse for your garden to actually grow. I still have tomatoes growing so many I gave them away, and I'm still giving them away to neighbors. Zucchini is great and still have a bunch coming in, but those are all under cover. Bought garden hoops and plastic and got zucchini, acorn squash, broccoli, carrots, no beans though. The stuff outside was really late coming in. Peas are still coming in and picked every day. My dogs help themselves with peas, beans, raspberries, and cherry tomatoes. I'm investing now in a third greenhouse. It seems that as if the plants need that to grow. Also saying that they need a lot more water to grow as well. Yellowstone Boutique in Billings, Montana this week. I went to buy the 3 for $15 fruit containers. I bought a red and green grape mix right off the rack when the gal brought them out fresh. When I got them home to clean them, almost half of each container, the red grapes, were already soft and rotting. I was so angry because the store for me was a 72-mile drive from Fishtail, Montana, so taking them back wasn't really an option. I tried calling the store several times, but no one would answer over the course of 2 days. Produce is not what it used to be, huh? Jeff in Utah says, I told you earlier about how my ants were in disarray. Instead of building their annual mound at the far edge of the property, coming back in spring, since been doing this since 1992. Yesterday, they were only about 10% of ants of the normal numbers, and all running around like blind, no direction, just circles. I don't spray, something is wrong. Pry says, my mom broke her flip phone. I planned to get her another one, but decided to wait until payday. 2 days ago, the price of the one that she had was $20. Just 2 days ago. I went to buy the phone today. The price is now $50. 2% up from last year. All right, friends, thanks so much for sending in your reports. Appreciate you all. If you have something else to share, make sure you use that word update in your comment. If you want to check out another video from his channel, there's one right up there. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, there's a link right there on the screen. Just fill out your information and they'll get in contact with you. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.